Hello, my name is Cactus Con Carne. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome back to the only YouTube cooking show that you need to be watching. Now, today we're going to be dealing with leftovers, everybody's favorite thing. Now, you never know what to do with them. And this is something quick, well, somewhat quick, you can do with them. Now, come over here and we'll look at all the things that I've got going for us. Alright, so first things first, we're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. Just let it sit while you're prepping everything. So now let's take a look at all of our ingredients we've got here. Now, you can have a wide range of things. It's whatever you can find in your refrigerator. Now, the only things that you need standard are 2 cups of half and half, 2 eggs, and a pinch of nutmeg. Now, I don't have nutmeg to buy anywhere around here, so I have to use this stuff. Fresh is always better. Now, I'm going to do 2 different applications. Now, what you need, or what you can use, and this is just a slight possibility, is I've got some leftover ham, I've got some leftover spinach, and I've got some old cheddar cheese that I'm going to use. So all of these 3 things need to be less than 8 ounces. So if you're going to, whatever you're going to put in there has to be 8 ounces, roughly. All together 8 ounces. Not 8 ounces of ham, 8 ounces of cheese, 8 ounces of spinach. So get yourself a scale. Scale is always good to have in the kitchen. And cut it all up and shred your cheese and whatever. So I'll do that and we'll come back to it. So through the magic of the internet, mine's already chopped up. Now I've got a little bit over 8, which is fine. But if you don't have to be specific with your measurements. You don't have to go 2 5/8 and whatever to get whatever you want to get 8. You can do, if you want ham to be the star, you can put a little bit more ham in it to get that, you know, your nice smoky ham flavor. You don't like as much spinach, you can leave that out. You want a nice sharp cheese flavor, you put more of that in, whatever. It all just has to add up to 8 ounces, which mine does. Now, if you do not like ham, you do not like spinach, you don't like cheese, well, you can do a mixture of anything. You can do chicken, broccoli, and cheese. You can do, you know, pepperoni, black olives, and green peppers. You can do, you know, well, let's show you another one. I'm going to set this to the side for now, and I'll show you the other application here. So, the other thing that I'm going to do is, I've got a little bit of smoked salmon, got some mushrooms, and I chose some nice feta cheese. Now, this is a little bit higher end, maybe. I've altered it a little bit. What it recommended was salmon, asparagus, and mushrooms. So if you want to cut the cheese out completely, you can do that. Possibilities are endless with this. Just whatever you have in the fridge that would go well together. Now, again, through the magic of TV, I'm going to whip this one up and show you how it's done. Alright, so I went and I sauteed my mushrooms, I got my salmon in here, and I added a generous handful of the feta cheese. Now, the other thing you will need is 9-inch pie shell. Now, you can use fresh or frozen, and I prefer frozen because they're easy to keep on hand. You just stick it in your freezer and then forget about it. So you need it the most. So I've got 2 here. I'm going to set these aside here for a second. I'm going to grab myself a mixing bowl. What I want to do Now I should note that I've called this episode Refrigerator Pie. Now, I've only called it that because you're supposed to use things that are in your refrigerator, leftovers like. I'll reveal to everybody else who's screaming at their screen right now, it is actually a quiche. And it's very simple to do. So, in this bowl, we need ourselves 2 of our eggs. One cup of half and half, pinch of our nutmeg. I'm just going to, that's enough. And then whisk it all together. Now instead of doubling this recipe, I'm going to do it twice so that I get the exact amount I need in my pie crusts. So I'm going to whisk this up and then we're going to take it over to the oven and I'll see you over there. Alright, so you want to get yourself a cookie sheet. Just set it on the door here. And get your pies. And lay them out as such. And then pour on the door. Now, this is easier to transport like this, so it goes straight into the oven. So, you want it a 1/4 inch from the top. So spread it all out. On the cookie sheet in case of spillage. Now, this is surprisingly more than enough. So I'm going to add this directly in. And close that door. Now you want to cook it for around 35 to 45 minutes. So I'm going to go for 40. So the best way to check to see if your refrigerator pie is done is to feel it. Now it should feel like set up Jell-O, which these do. If you're really not sure, what you should do is take yourself a skewer or toothpick and poke it in and then push down right where the hole is. And if you see liquid coming up, it needs more time. Now these ones are done, and what you should do is you should let them cool for about 15 minutes. They're probably best at about room temperature. So you can leave them for about 15 minutes before you cut into them. And there you have it. Refrigerator pie or quiche. Now, this is room temperature and it holds up pretty well on the fork. Now, the taste is great. Remember I said you can do anything you want with it. And that one's a lot better. Sky's the limit. It's all about what your imagination can bring and what your refrigerator can bring to you. Now, the pie shells can be either frozen or homemade. I prefer frozen because, like I said, I just leave them in the freezer for whenever I need something like this. The spinach, if you're going to use spinach, can be either cooked or frozen as well. Make sure it's dry. I forgot to mention that. Squeeze out any excess moisture. Now, this is a nice easy way to get rid of your leftovers. Once it's baked, if you have extra, you can wrap it in plastic wrap and then wrap that in tin foil and stick it in your freezer, and you can freeze it for up to 2 months. It's something good that you can just grab on, when you don't have much time, pop it in the oven, and there you go. Reheat it in a 350 degree oven, just like we baked it the first time. and put it in for 20 to 25 minutes. And it should be just as good as when you baked it the first time. Now, I'm not going to do a cost breakdown for this video because it could be anything. It's just all about your leftovers. Pie shells aren't very much. They're maybe about $5 for 2. So, in reality, that's all you're really buying. Lots of people have creamer, so I'm not going to say anything about that. Creamer's really cheap, too. The half and half is what I mean by creamer. That's it. Eggs are always on hand as well. So, sky's the limit. Do whatever you want, and we'll see you next time. I've been Cactus Con Carne. This has been Cactus Cooks.